Hey everyone, in my last video, I left you hanging because I did an axle conversion and didn't dish the wheel. So I wanted to make a standalone dishing video, so here it is. So we're looking for a flush fit on the drive side, and then we compare with the non-drive side, and we can see here that there's a pretty big gap. So whenever you see a gap at the rim part, what that means is you have to move the dish, the wheel, over to whichever side has the gap. So we're just going to start here. I have it on the stand. As you can see, this is the drive side, and the other side is the non-drive side. It's a little difficult to see which spokes are which, but the best way to do it is to head on over to the valve hole, and for me the drive side is always going to be on the left side of the valve hole. So what we're going to do is loosen off the drive side a half turn, and then we're going to tighten the non-drive side a half turn, and we're going to see where we end up here. So back on the stand here, just so you can see, I'm going to show you the non-drive side. So it's nice and flush, but that doesn't mean that it's dished. And we'll flip it over here to the drive side. We're going to see there's a little bit of a gap here on the drive side. It's just a tiny, tiny bit. So we've kind of kept the tension the same. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to see if we can tighten up the drive side just a little bit, because that's where you want all the tension. You want all the tension on the drive side. So I'm just going to try a quarter turn here and a quarter turn, but as you can see, it's really tight, so I'm just going to return it back to where it was. And what I'm going to do instead to compensate is loosen off the non-drive side, because it's pretty obvious that we've just over-tightened the non-drive side. And it just doesn't need as much tension as the drive side because it doesn't get any torque. So when dishing, no matter which side it is, you always want to move the nipples the same amount on each side. Now, I built these wheels, so what I do is I always line up the nipples so that the flats are facing a certain way. That way, as you can see, the spoke wrench always fits on perfectly, and my quarter turns will always look the same. So I don't really have to think it out. There are guys who will just go willy-nilly and try to get their tension without keeping a uniformity on the nipples, and that's really just a rookie mistake. And if you see professionals doing that, then you know to just kind of turn around and look for your local wheel builder. So as we can see, it's flush on the non-drive side, it's flush on the drive side, so that means we have a perfect dish. If it wasn't dished properly, there'd be a massive space between the indicator arms, and there's... I hope you liked the video, and if you want to see the build of this wheel, you can click right here.